How do you compare DASH and BOS WPS systems? I know DASH has been quite successful with their WPS. So,
yeah, for sure. Really good question. I mean, in designing our systems, we actually studied the DASH system, so the one that we're going to be deploying or going to be that we're building currently for the EOS IO mainnet is very much inspired by DASH, but it is also inspired by the BOS WPS system, which we built and designed. And so, how do I compare them? One of the key, I guess, insights that I learned by looking at DASH was that DASH is very successful. However, DASH has some issues, and one of the larger issues is that everything is hard coded. The DASH WPS system has not changed since it's been launched, and that is an issue. They didn't have the technology behind. It's a long time ago, 5 years ago, and so to give an idea, at some point DASH was worth, I'm not sure about the amount, but let's say it was worth a little over $1,000, I think. While the 5 dash barrier of entry, well, that was $5,000 to submit a proposal. The amount of monthly dash that they were giving at some point was something like $25 million, and that's when you saw. I don't know if you recall, but at some point Dash sponsored NASCAR, and they had a NASCAR with Dash on it and everything, and that cost something like 2.5 mil or 4.5 mil, something like that. And so they wanted to change the parameters in the system. They can't. Everything's hard coded. So if you want to actually make, apparently, if you want to make changes to the core system, you actually need to fork Dash. It's not happening. But we did learn a lot from that. We learned a lot from that in how masternodes behave. We learned a lot from that, from Dash, in terms of how many people actually participate in the ecosystem, how people interact, timeline-wise, setting a beginning and an end, putting a barrier of entry. In their case, it's 5 dash. And so we learned quite a bit from the Dash model. But at the same time, because we designed the BOS model almost a year ago now, it's almost a year old, we learned from that one as well, because we threw it out in the wild in the BOS ecosystem with actual funds, with actual users, and so it's been running live. And there are a lot of key elements that we've learned that worked out really well, and some that didn't work out as well. And one that I touched upon earlier was the idea that the funds are given at the onset versus after the fact. So in BOS, they're given after the fact, and we see that there are challenges there. And so we're working on a micro grant system that actually alleviate that, but it works within BOS because of the way that BOS is designed. Another thing that we learned from BOS is that when you want to implicate, and this was also from EOS referendum, if you implicate every token holder for every decision, unfortunately, you can't reach consensus because it's just too difficult, and most people just do not have the time. And so in EOS, the idea is that people have delegated authorities in order to make those decisions for them. Those authorities in EOS, we call them block producers, whether they're the top 21 or whether they're any block producer that meets the pay threshold. You essentially meet the certain quota to be able to be designed as an official participant in the system. Why not leverage those people instead of every single token holder every time? So that is one of the key elements that we integrated in our new system as well, is leveraging the already elected, essentially official